Now let's talk about the loss aversion. We feel the pain of losing something more intensely than the pleasure of gaining it. That's why it's so hard to get rid of things we don't need, and that's why limited time offers can be so tempting. Well, have you ever experienced the curse of knowledge? Once we know something, it's very hard to imagine not knowing it. This can make it difficult to explain things to beginners. Experts often struggle to teach their projects for their or this reason. Now, let's discuss stereotypes. Our brain like to categorize things to process information quickly, but this can lead to unfair judgment about individuals. Well, it's important to recognize and challenge our stereotypes. Here is a common one: selective attention. We can't pay attention to everyone or everything, so our brains filter information. Ever bought a new car and suddenly noticed that model is everywhere? It was always there, but now your brain consider it important. Now let's explore the in-group bias. We tend to favor members of our group over others. This can be a bias on anything from nationality to favorite sport team. It's a major source of the conflict in the world. Have you heard of the Dunbar number? It suggests we can only maintain about 150 stable social relationships. Beyond that, we struggle to keep track of people and how we relate to them. That's why social media friends often don't feel like a real friendship. Now, let's talk about hindsight bias. After an event occurs, we tend to see it as more predictable than it was. We say things like, I knew it all along, or it was obvious. However, predicting the future is much harder than explaining the past. Here is an interesting one: the illusion of transparency. We overestimate how well others can read our emotional state. When we are nervous, we think it's obvious to everyone. In reality, people are not as perspective as we think. Now let's discuss the functional fixedness. This is when we can only see objects as serving their common functions. This limits our problem-solving abilities. For example, seeing a shoe only as a footwear, not as a potential hammer. Well, have you ever experienced the Zeigarnik effect or Zeigarnik effect? Unfinished tasks tend to stick in our mind more than completed one. Now, let's explore the bandwagon effect. We tend to adapt beliefs or behaviors because many other people do. This can lead to trends, fads, or even mass panics. Well, it's important to think critically rather than just following the crowd. Here is a common one: the herd mentality. In uncertain situations, we often follow what others are doing. This can lead to both positive and the negative outcomes. It's why we might join in applause even if we didn't hear the performance.